The Rays continued their Citrus Series dominance last night in South Florida, thanks to 7 innings of one-hit ball by Drew Rasmussen and a 3-hit night at the plate from Junior Caminero. Today, Tampa Bay sends left-hander Shane McClanahan to the hill, looking to secure a series victory in South Beach. Rays TV is presented by Union Home Mortgage. The glittering lights inside what was once known as Marlins Park here in Miami as the Rays get ready to take on the Marlins for Game 2 of this 3-game set. Lots of talk about all-star selections. Everybody seems to be talking about it these days, and none more so as we go downstairs to Kendra Douglas.
Well, they sure are, Andy. And on Friday night, we saw Jonathan Aranda deliver for the Rays, giving fans even more of a reason to send him and his teammates to Philadelphia for that All-Star game. Now, fans have all of June to take part in Phase 1 of All-Star voting. Aranda's teammate Taylor Walls told me it feels like Aranda is always finding a way to come up in big moments, and we did see that Friday night. Aranda snapped an 0-for-14 skid and picked up his 44th RBI of the season, tied for 3rd in the most American League. Now, Walls went on to call Aranda one of the best hitters in baseball, praising his ability to control the strike zone, produce against both left-handed and right-handed pitching. So fans can vote every day to help send the Rays to Philadelphia for that All-Star game. Just head over to raysbaseball.com/vote and vote for the Rays. Guys.
Kendra, thank you very much. There are many to choose from, but Jonathan Aranda certainly is one of the lead candidates to go to Philadelphia. Now time for the starting lineups, and they're brought to you by Orlando Health. Yandy Diaz, he had 3 hits yesterday, and he'll lead it off. Then Aranda 2, Junior Caminero 3rd. Richie Palacios in the cleanup spot. Notice he's playing left field today. Ben Williamson at 2nd. Cedric Mullins has homered in 2 straight games. Then Taylor Walls at short, Victor Mesa in right, and the catcher Nick Fortes.
Well, our Suncoast Credit Union starting pitcher this afternoon is going to be Lake Bacher. 19 games this season. You take a look at the numbers, an outstanding whip right there of .96. I guess the only question that you have about Lake Bacher, how long will he go? And I know that Clayton McCullough, the manager of the Marlins, said, listen, he'll go out as long as he can be effective. His longest outing was his last outing. He went 2 2/3 innings against the Nationals, 49 pitches. So you don't expect him to get much more north than 50 before he turns it over to the bullpen and starts playing the matchup game here this afternoon. That's the arsenal that he will attack these Rays hitters with. Fastball averages about 94 miles per hour. Slider, sweeper, curveball, all of the breaking balls, and then that split.
He just turned 31 years of age on Wednesday, and he gets set to make the start/open/beginning of the bullpen. He's just first in line today at a strike to Yandy Diaz to get it going. Game 2 in Miami tonight. Yandy 3 hits in the cleanup spot yesterday and back to the top of the order today. I asked Kevin Cash today about how do you set up a lineup when you really don't know who you're going to face. The Marlins have 2 lefties and a team of righties in their pen. He goes, we just thought it was best to go righty-lefty all the way down the lineup. 3-1 to Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and that's an outstanding answer. You're right. You play that game, and then therefore, when you do finally make a move, because these relievers, if they come in and they're not finishing off an inning, they have to face at least 3 hitters. You're going to get at least 1, maybe 2 matchups that may favor you. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult for Clayton to go to that pen and be confident that he's going to get all the matchups that he wants.
And Clayton said yesterday, he goes, we can pretty much bring everybody back except Phillips, possibly Gusto because he went 2 yesterday. Up the middle for Diaz, but backhanded by Edwards for the game's first out.
Well, let's quickly set that Marlin defense for you. In the outfield left to right, we got Heriberto Hernandez, Esteuri Ruiz, and Kyle Stowers. Infield third to first, Javier Sanoa, Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, and Connor Norby with Joe Mack back behind the plate.
All right, Bacher goes to work now with 1 out, nobody on, to Jonathan Aranda. .44 runs batted in. That is tied for 3rd in the American League. Slice foul, 0-2. When you have these bullpen days, very rarely, if you're a hitter, unless you hit around in an inning, even then, do you see the same pitcher twice. So the guys that get 4 at-bats today will probably be seeing 4 different pitchers.
That can't be fun.
No.
And you know that it's not. But, you know, listen, that's part of the game now. It's not the first time that these guys have probably gone through something like that, so they'll be ready. That's where the scouting report, the sharing of information, the talking that goes on the bench, that will be very important here today.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Aranda. High heat, down he goes.
Yeah, well, that's following up the breaking ball that was down below the zone, down near the dirt. So all of a sudden you kind of manipulate the eyes of Jonathan Aranda. He's looking down, and you all of a sudden come up, and you can see that's exactly where they wanted it. Joe Mack sitting there at the top of the zone, our Advent Health strike zone, and that's where it was, right at the top of the zone, and it beat Aranda's swing up.
So 2 out, nobody on for Junior Caminero. The numbers on Junior, along with just 1 fewer walk than Aranda for the team lead. But he has been taking his free passes. Yesterday, along with the 3 hits, he walked twice, on base all 5 times, and scored 3 runs in the middle of just about everything offensively for the Rays. Tapper, that is a foul ball. Home plate umpire Mark Wagner is the crew chief and said foul ball. Didn't he say foul ball?
Not if he's checking the hands of Lake Bacher.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I thought he held the hands up. Pardon me. Side retired. Marlins coming up against McClanahan in a moment.
Do you know?
Here's the Marlins lineup brought to you by Orlando Health. Xavier Edwards, Otto Lopez, and Kyle Stowers will start it. Then Heriberto Hernandez, Leo Jimenez, and Javier Sanoja, followed by the speedster Esteury Ruiz, Connor Norby, and Joe Mack.
Well, our Suncoast Credit Union starting pitcher, Shane McClanahan, let's look what he's done in his last 7 starts. By the way, 5 of the 7 were scoreless. Record 5-0, ERA 1.22. Absolutely dominant. You know, he started the season, his first 4 starts, he was 1-2 with a 5 ERA. And look at this. Right there, the whip. Big reason why, not walking anybody. Just 8 walks over those 7 starts, keeping the ball in the yard, too. 1 homer. Love Shane McClanahan's mix because by today's standard, it's very simple. And it's never going to work out this way for a given game because a different pitch seems to take center stage every time he starts. But that fastball, the changeup, those are the 2 biggies. Slider, curveball kind of depends on the feel of each pitch and also the scouting report. Sometimes we've seen the curveball be the big one. Sometimes it's been the slider, but always the fastball changeup.
I think earlier in the year, too, the changeup was the most thrown pitch. That is down to number 2 now. The fastball usage has gone up.
For the most part, his fastball usage is always going to be number 1, but on a game-to-game basis, you go back to where this started against Minnesota, and he was 20% fastballs.
Wow.
20% fastball for the game. And, you know, the changeup was more in line with 30 to 40 in that range. He pitched Minnesota backwards. A lot of off-speed early and the hard stuff late, but a lot of off-speed overall. And he just, his game is kind of morphed like that, where on any given afternoon, evening, whatever, you just don't know about his mix.
Little flare to shallow right. And Mesa able to make the play, 1 out.
Well, let's take a quick look at that Rays defense. And joining Victor Mesa Jr. in that outfield is going to be Richie Palacios out in left and Cedric Mullins. Infield third to first, Junior Caminero, Taylor Walls, Ben Williamson, and Jonathan Aranda, with Vic Fortes getting the call behind the plate. The versatility of one Richie Palacios.
Really?
Second base to left field.
He played more outfield for the Rays when he first got to the organization, but out of need and injuries to Lux, and then Williamson was out. He's gotten a lot of time at second, so as for this year, a rare outfield appearance, but he can certainly do it. bunt. Junior gets there, 2 down.
Now, was that on purpose? It looked like Shane was going down with his glove to make that play. Did he pull off of it? It ended up being an easier play for Caminero, and they had plenty of time. Let's take a look. I don't know. I don't know.
We don't know.
They were laughing after it. Shane and Junior were laughing after it, but that was a pretty standard play there for Junior Caminero.
So Junior might have said something when he was
Perhaps.
coming in. Say mine, or whatever. And Stowers grounds to Aranda, and it's a quick 7-pitch, 1-2-3 first for Shane McClanahan. 8 pitches make it. No score through 1.
only $13.99.
Still a scoreless game here in Miami. Now, guys, it's been a challenging week for Chandler Simpson. We saw him have to get stitches to his bottom lip Monday after his helmet hit him in his mouth. But then also we saw him have to leave the game Friday night in the 3rd inning due to some left thumb discomfort. Talking with him after the game, he said the issue dates back to that Detroit series on Wednesday when he jammed his thumb on a swing. He felt it again Friday night, and the discomfort flared up enough that he needed to come out of the game. Well, you were talking about it in the previous inning about just how rare it is to see Richie Palacios at left field. Well, because of that, he is taking the start today in that one. Manager Kevin Cash said he feels very comfortable having Palacios out there, noting that his versatility is one of his biggest strengths. And as for Simpson, well, Cash did say he is fully available to come off the bench. It could still help this team in today's game if needed. Guys?
Kendra, thank you very much, and that is good to know that he is available. Certainly his legs are fine. He could pinch run. But Kevin Cash, as Kendra was saying, making sure to say, too, that he could even swing the bat. And the Marlins are going to, no, they're not going to challenge. Joe Beck was going to challenge. Then they asked for the check swing. Jacob Metz went strike. So it should be 2-2 to Palacios.
Well, let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's too far.
Popped out of play.
You know how many times I heard that growing up? Brian James Anderson, you've gone too far.
I get the feeling you might still hear that every once in a while.
Every now and then. It applies. I get rung up quite a bit, Andy.
It happens.
It does.
2-2 to Palacios. Full count.
Oh, so close. So close. And you can see back there behind the plate. I mean, holding that ball there. Now asking, talking. Where'd you have that? You have it just off.
Did he go this time?
He got called right there.
Strike 3.
Didn't even have to appeal. And that ball was clearly off the plate, but kind of running up and away, and Richie couldn't help himself.
Yeah, he went. So 1 out here in the 2nd inning for Ben Williamson. It's 0-2. Kevin Cash today we were talking about the 3 big hitters, Yandy, Aranda, and Caminero. He goes, you know what, though? A lot of the other guys are doing their thing, too. Can't just be the 3. I mean, yesterday, Valade, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Palacios had the 2-run triple. Mullins hit the home run. Walls had a hit towards the bottom of the order. So we talk all the time about the big 3, but it's not just those 3. Denied on the appeal. That's Bruce Dreckman at first. There it is.
American League ranks. You see the #1 in average. That ends up translating into 4.7 runs a game. 4th in the American League. Runners in scoring position. They have been pretty clutch all year.
Slow roller. Sanoja's an excellent fielder, and there's 2 down.
You know, the other thing that's really nice about the Rays, with that average runners in scoring position being 2nd in the American League, but they give themselves a ton of opportunities too. You know, because of the fact that they'll go out and steal bags and they turn those singles or walks into doubles. Now there's a runner in scoring position. They've been so good at it Even just the situational hitting that you like to talk about, where you're getting a run with an out, and a sac fly, a run first and third with one out.
Mullins lifts one to deep right field. Not quite far enough. Mullins has homered in 2 straight games and just missed a third. Kyle Stowers able to go up and pull it down. So the ballpark held it so close. Still scoreless in Miami. Pretty good ERA for Shane McClanahan. Got some excellent company to be spending time with.
Well, those are the last 7 starts, and he's got that 1.22 earned run average. I mean, he's only been scored on in 2 of the 7 starts. 5 of them had been scoreless. He had the one where he gave up the 4 runs in a start, and then gave up a run his last time out. But he has been absolutely locked down, and again, doing it in different ways. He doesn't have a set formula, other than he's more of a pitcher now than he's ever been. Not that he was ever a pure thrower, but he was a max effort, max spin, just really airing it out. He has dialed that back just a little bit and has become a pitcher, a thinking man's pitcher. The way that he sequences, what he reads from a hitter's approach, what feels good to him out on the mound. He used to get that 7-foot extension, and now he's at 6.7. So the velocity's come down just a touch, but it's still very effective velocity. It's still good velocity. But boy, what it has done to his secondary pitches, the changeup in particular, right there. That's it. He's getting 4 inches more depth this year than he did the last time he was active in 23. Well above major league average. He's taken more spin off of the change, and that's allowed it to get more depth. Our Orlando Health slow-mo change, just see that ball takes off. He's got great arm speed. That's what the hitter is reading right out of the gate, is that arm speed. And then all of a sudden, here comes the ball. Looks like it could be a fastball. You start your swing and realize, oh my, it's not getting here.
I remember seeing some pictures of Shane before the injury in the years gone by, and look at that.
Yeah, so the fade is the same. He's taken off 140 RPM, so he's taken off spin. That's allowed him to get more depth.
There were some pictures where they would freeze frame it, and for just a split second, he was like off the ground.
Yes.
Is he still doing that?
No, that's when he was at 7 feet.
Yeah.
And there were shots that you would look and you'd be like, he looks like he's hovering.
Leo Jimenez sends it out to Mullins for the second out of the inning.
It would look like he was pushing off and jumping towards home plate. That as he pushed off the rubber, that front foot would appear to have not quite touched down yet. And was he airborne? It's pretty close, but now at 6.7, he's still got great extension, still well above major league average. He still gets out over that front side, but he's not max effort every pitch. And that's why the velocity's down maybe a mile and a half, but it's not hurting him.
A push bunt is a base hit for Javier Sonoja.
If the push bunt gets by the pitcher where the pitcher can't make the play, there's no play to be made. That's the bottom line on that particular play. And when you're push bunting against a left-handed pitcher who's naturally falling off to the third base side, watch how hard it's going to be for him to get back over there. It's too late. And if Aranda's, there's no way that Williamson can get there.
Williamson, the moment he squared, was already running towards first, but still just no chance.
Yeah, you're coming from too far away. You're running about as far. Whoa, look out.
Wow, wait. Off the bat of Ruiz.
When does the netting go in front of the little, for the players?
Right.
Jeez.
Guess everybody's got all their teeth down there. That went in hot. Showing bunt with 2 outs. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, remember last night, hit number 2 on the night for the Marlins was a bunt hit by Ruiz in the 9th.
Yeah. Down 6 runs. I mean, he still could, the way the defense is set up. It is open on the right side. And a changeup, strike 1 and 2.
But anyway, all that to say, him cutting it back just a little bit, it allows him to get more spin, better spin on his breaking balls. He gets a little bit more out in front. He's taken that spin off of the changeup, which has allowed it to have more depth. It's become a more effective pitch for him. And then on top of all that, he is just understanding how to pitch, how to sequence, how to set hitters up. Get him looking for one thing, give him the other. Been fun to watch.
It always blows me away when you talk about him taking the spin off the changeup. All you hear is spin rate. How hard is it spinning? But sometimes the lack of spin.
Yeah, and that's what allows that ball to be pulled down by gravity a little bit, a little bit more. And so, yeah, you see guys, he has a split grip on his changeup. And it used to be a split grip where he would pronate and it had the same kind of spin like a circle change. It's more of a splitter now than it was then, but it's still not a true split. And when you see some guys with a split finger, that their RPMs will be at 800. I think on his changeup right now, it went from 1,600 to around 1,400. It was in that range. But some guys that throw two true splitters or fork balls, they're at like 800 RPMs. And that's why those balls just bottom out as they're coming towards home plate. There's just no spin on them. Boy, they get pulled down quick.
Amazing gravity would do that just between the release point and home plate.
And that's why on the four-seam fastball, you want more spin because you want the carry. You don't want it to be pulled down, so you're trying to create that effective spin.
Foul right out of the mid of Nick Fortes, 3-2.
It's all what these pitchers are doing. I'd like to say in the offseason, but they're doing it during the season also. They go into the little pitch lab, and how can we further manipulate a pitch to make it more effective? Bottom line.
So know how it goes. A ball forward. Shane's upset. From 1-2, he walks Ruiz. It's 2-1 and 1 out. Little blip here in the command of Shane McClanahan. 2-1, 1 out. And now Shane will be against Connor Norby. You can celebrate Juneteenth at Tropicana Field. June 19th, when the Rays take on the Washington Nationals. The Juneteenth ticket package includes a ticket to the game and a specially designed jersey that reflects baseball's unseen moments and the courage to move the game forward. Visit RaysBaseball.com/Juneteenth. Strike one to Connor Norby. One and one. There's that changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, this is the point. He got Ruiz at 1-2 and then couldn't put him away. Now, what can they do with Norby? There it is. The curveball for strike 3 called no challenge by Connor Norby, as Shane McClanahan might be a little irritated at the walk, but he got through it no problem. No score yet between the Rays and the Marlins. 6 up, 6 down by Lake Bacher. And Taylor Wall starts it for the Rays here in the third. We'll see how long Bacher goes. Bender is warming up in their bullpen, so we'll see what's the breaking point for Clayton McCullough. Spun foul 0-2.
Well, we said Bacher, his last outing was his longest of the year, both in innings pitched and in pitches. 2 2/3, 49 pitches. He's at 2 innings right now, 2 innings plus at 29 pitches. So there's more room to go, but at some point it becomes about matchups. You've gotten what you've wanted out of Bacher, and you're going to turn to your pen and see where it goes. Boy, nice backdoor breaking ball right there.
He is certainly looking sharp. 1 out in the third.
Well, and that's why you get the feeling that maybe it's just going to be one time through the order. They don't want the Rays to see him for that second time that you talked about before. Let's have these hitters, especially the top of the Rays lineup, the toughest part of their lineup. Let's have those top guys face a different pitcher every single time they come to the plate to try to minimize their impact. So even though his pitch count is certainly in really good order and he is very sharp, he might be down to his last 2 hitters here potentially.
And if he knows that, he can just go ahead and empty the tank. He is behind, though, to Mesa, a former Marlin. Another curveball. 2-1.
That curveball is sharp. I mean, that is sharp. Quick up and down.
Showing bunt and rolled a ball, no challenge either.
Yeah, that was close. That was another good curveball.
Certainly looked to be in the zone.
Ooh, and it was.
Rays did get a break.
That wasn't even real borderline.
Off the end of the bat, but carrying out to Ruiz for the second out. Well, you can score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Rays, the official source for your Rays gear. Here's Nick Fortes with 2 out and nobody on. I think BA was saying probably last batter for Bacher. We're the top of the order next, but Rays have not had a base runner yet. That's foul.
Nice. Nice delivery to the fans.
He's a Gold Glover.
I was going to say, you said he's a slick fielding infielder right there. Showed that on that foul ball.
Hammered but caught by Sanoha.
That pitch was neck high.
Yes, it
The
was.
fact that Fortes even got on top of that. And Sanoha takes it away. Well, we are heading to the home half of the third here in Miami, and it is scoreless. Listen, Nick Fortes, I'm sorry that I'm so excited about this, but watch Nick Fortes. How do you get up on top of that baseball? You know, Joe Mack is calling for that fastball up in the zone, wants it way up there. That ball is chin high, and Fortes gets on top of it, smokes it, and then the Gold Glover takes away an extra base hit.
I don't know why you're saying sorry. I think it was pretty incredible what he just did. I mean,
What?
you're not supposed to swing at that pitch.
And you're
That's a
certainly not
show-me
supposed.
pitch,
You're
right?
not supposed to hit
Right.
it hard either. You know, we were talking about this in between innings. We've been, you know, ad nauseum talking about Junior Caminero and his flat swing keeps it in the zone, all the things, and it's true. Flattest swing in baseball. Nick Fortes doesn't qualify because he doesn't have enough ABs. Nick Fortes' swing is 4 or 5 degrees flatter than Junior's. He has the flattest swing in baseball. It's like 18 degrees, where Junior's at like 22, 23. That's the only way you can get up on top of that pitch.
Look at Taylor Walls.
Look at the throw.
And he's out at first.
The throw. The play, I'm going to tell you what, he has such a great feel for that position. He is so fun to watch. Number one, you got to get to that baseball, which he was able to do, but the throw that he put on, didn't try to get up and airmail it. Just watch. Up, quick, and just get it on its way. I'll bounce it. Love when guys do that. Nice little hop there for Aranda.
What a shortstop.
How quickly he got rid of that. Right on the money.
Both teams showing off Gold Glove play. Remember, he's playing on a bit of a tender hamstring also. He's been saying it's kind of a day-to-day thing, but remember, he got a couple days off this week. Try to let it calm down. Popped up by Edwards. Should be routine for Williamson for the second out. When you're a pitcher, guys make that kind of play behind you, you get fired up on the mound.
Oh, yeah. Because you have a feel, you know where your defenders are playing behind you. And the ball off the bat, you've seen it so many times your entire life that you're like, oh, that's in the hole, that's a base hit. You know, you just know. You're already conceding the hit. Now, okay, I got to work out of the stretch, maybe get a double play ball. You know, all these things are going through your head as the ball comes off the bat. And then you turn and you see your guy make a play like that. And, yes, it's a huge uplift because you've already in your brain turned that into a single.
Yeah. And he was shaded well up the middle, too. He had to go a long way to get it. 2 out, nobody on. The league's leading hitter at the plate, Renato Lopez. or I should say second, at 331. Brandon Marsh with the Phillies passing him up.
Defensive run saved, leads Major League Baseball shortstops.
He's bound to get a Gold Glove at some point.
He has to. I think there's just been too much noise made about his defense, and it lines up with all the analytics and the metrics. And I got to be honest with you. I find analytics and metrics fascinating. I think that if you put all of your eggs in that basket, you're doing yourself a disservice. I think the organizations that try to marry the analytics and the metrics with also what they're seeing, it's a little bit better. But by any metric defensively, he's one of the best in the game, maybe the best.
He passes every test. Taylor Walls.
It's still scoreless here in Miami, but for Victor Mesa Jr., it feels like home for him right now, as he has his family here supporting him, his dad, his brother, his wife, and his kids, all here in attendance in this game. And for Victor Mesa Jr., he's looked right at home since being called up during that Rays last road trip. Manager Kevin Cash said what stands out most is the confidence and the athleticism that the Mesa brings every day, adding that he fits to the club really because of how strong he is defensively. And that's an area Mesa takes a lot of pride in. He said he would much rather strike out twice than make an error because he wants his coaches and teammates to trust him whenever the ball hits his way. Mesa said growing up, knowing how well known his father was in Cuba, he's always felt baseball would be a part of his life. He even joked, guys, saying in Cuba the saying is you're born with a ball and a bat in your hands, and he says he gets about 15 to 20 messages waiting from his dad every time to talk about his performance. So for Mesa, even after a good performance, he's always looking for the next area where he can improve and help this team out, guys.
That's awesome, Kendra. Thank you very much. We have seen him homer with the Rays. Defensively, he's just been flawless. As he said, that's his priority, and so it was for Dad, too.
I want to meet Dad.
You have to meet
I have to meet Dad. You know, got to meet his son when we got off the train from New York to Baltimore, and said, introduced myself to Victor Mesa Jr. and said, by the way, I faced your dad. And his eyes bugged out because how many people have gotten to face his father playing in Cuba all those years. And so we had a nice talk about that, and he's a great kid, easy to talk to, all the things. He make that play.
Ruiz takes a hit away from Yandy Diaz.
And so anyway, so we met, and then to see that he's at the ball game today, boy, I would love to meet him. I faced him one time, and it was we had gone to Holguin, Cuba, and we were down there I think for 4 games. And so we played down there, and then we came back to the States. They followed us back up here, and I started against the Cubans in Mile High Stadium on the 4th of July of '92. 61,000 plus in the stands in Mile High, and faced that team and faced Victor Mesa Jr.'s pops.
Didn't you say you could feel the pitching rubber moving?
Well, because of all the bench seating at Mile High Stadium, when you start rattling that, people start with their feet. Yeah, it made the mound. I'm getting ready to throw the first pitch of the game, and my feet are vibrating. You could feel the buzz in my cleats. It was quite the atmosphere.
You said this when we were talking about him being here today. How many American kids have really had the chance to face him? You and a couple of teammates.
Yeah, certainly the teammates on the '92 team, and probably all the other international competition years that guys got to face him. But it's a select group because back then, those players in Cuba, they didn't defect like they do today. I mean, they were Cubans. They played for the Cuban national team. That was their team. They were unbelievably good. I mean, they were like the Soviet hockey team back in the '60s, '70s, '80s.
Run down by Hernandez, 2 down.
They were like the USA basketball dream team when it first started. They didn't lose. They didn't lose. It was basically a roster full of professional, higher end professional. Like a lot of big leaguers would have been on his team. Victor Mesa probably would have been a big leaguer. And they're playing kids, 20, 18, 19, 20, maybe a 21-year-old. Is going to be part of Team USA, and they're using aluminum bats. It was not, and these are with the aluminum bats that aren't regulated like they are today. They weren't like drop 10s and drop 12. These things were supercharged. So it was they were a tough team to face, tough team to play against.
No doubt in your mind, having faced them, that those guys would have been stars in Major League Baseball.
A lot of them would have been. Absolutely. They were they were the premier amateur baseball team, and they weren't really amateur,
Right.
but yeah, in the world, they didn't lose.
Yeah.
They were so far head and shoulders above everybody else because they shouldn't have been there. They should have been in some level of minor league baseball, or a bunch of them would have been in the big leagues.
You bet. We saw Yandy make the out earlier in the inning. Yandy wears number 2 because of a player named Eduardo Perret, who played shortstop with Yandy's dad, who was playing second, and I believe they played with Victor Mason Sr. on some of those teams. Perret wore number 2. That's why Yandy wears number 2. So there's still that link. Yandy might be over here, but the origin story comes from overseas. Rays TV is brought to you by Advent Health. You are our priority in a medical emergency. Advent Health. And by Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card, earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. Now the first pitch strike from McClanahan to Stowers, then Hernandez and Jimenez here in the last of the 4th. Still no score. Trying to see where Fortes is setting up. I thought Drew Rasmussen had an interesting quote after the game yesterday, saying that he hadn't felt great about his command and everything felt a little off after that start against the Angels. So he requested to Nick Fortes, I want you to get as big as you can directly behind the plate. You don't often hear a pitcher doing that, but he asked the catcher to do it. Fortes said that's what we're going to do, and for whatever reason, that seemed to help out Drew last night.
Well, yeah, I think maybe he was trying to be too fine in that previous start, and so the command wasn't quite there. He was getting himself into counts that he didn't like. So, yeah, okay, get more of the plate. You know, Drew's stuff is good enough. It's going to play well in the zone. It is. You don't want to live in there. You don't want to live in the heart of the zone, but it's going to play well in the zone. And if he's not feeling great about his command and he's, sitting up down the middle, ball's not going to end up down the middle. It's going to run a little bit to that outer third where you'd like it, or it's going to cut in a little bit to the inner third where you want it. And so that just was maybe more of making it a comfort level for Drew Rasmussen. Kind of like what we're seeing from Shane McClanahan, the comfort level during the course of that at-bat to Kyle Stowers. A couple of sliders to get ahead of him, and then all of a sudden, boom, he just lays that fastball. Middle of the plate down. Stowers maybe looking for that slider that he used to get ahead.
Time used quickly by Roberto Hernandez.
And that's what we're talking about with McClanahan as far as maturing and developing as a pitcher. The sequencing. He had Stowers completely fooled right there, and obviously looking for something else. How many hitters take a fastball down the middle for strike 3?
Hit down to Caminero. A little weird reception there, but the throw was perfect. 2 out.
Yeah, that ball had a little weird hop there at the end. Nice adjustment quickly made by Junior.
It's down to you quick over there at third base, but he's got it. 2 out, nobody on for Leo Jimenez. Out of play, and 1 ball, 1 strike. And now the Marlins get John King, the left-hander, warming up in their pen, so maybe just 1 inning then for Anthony Bender. Rays don't have a base runner yet on this Marlins bullpen night. Is that an optical illusion, or is he behind the curveball there?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, the couple of curveballs that Shane has had some success with today have not been in the areas that he wants them. He got a strikeout looking on one that was at the top of the strike zone. That one right there was kind of a hanger up and out of the zone. Then you go back to Old Faithful.
The changeup, and McClanahan gets through another perfect inning. Miami, Florida, the site, and so far the pitchers are ruling the day. No score into the 5th. Well, get ready for the best summer at Tropicana Field with the Tampa Bay Rays. With a family pack, you can get tickets to the game, meals for everyone, and a parking pass. And it starts at just $27 per person. It's the perfect way to spend a summer day. Find out more. RaysBaseball.com/summer. Fifth inning from Miami, and the Rays and the Marlins still where we were at the beginning. 0-0. Anthony Bender for his second inning of work. Palacios, Williamson, Mullins. Rays looking for their first base runner. That pitch had some wiffle ball movement to it.
Yeah, I mean, right up into the grill of Richie Palacios. That wasn't very comfortable. Starting to dive out over the plate, and this one's coming.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's some backyard stuff.
Yeah.
They used to call that the frisbee slider. 2-1. 2-2. Richie asks for time, and it's granted by Mark Wagner. Slice foul, stays 2-2. The other way, and another fine play by Sanoja. Oh, not held on to by Norby. And the Rays do get their first base runner. Looked like the play was just about complete, but Norby could not put the squeeze.
Well, the door's been opened just a crack, especially here with the leadoff hitter. Nice play by Sanoja. He's going to bounce that throw too. Right there off the turf, and he gets a little second one, and Norby never secured it. Two-hopper.
Palacios running.
And did you see the way that Williamson swung at that ball? He's trying to shoot that ball to right field. That right there was a hit and run. He kind of let that barrel drag through the zone and tried to deliberately shoot that ball to right field with Richie moving and just fouled it off.
And is particularly confident in what he says, hitting the ball to the back half of the field.
And that's why he is the best guy in this line. If you're going to hit and run, if you had to pick one guy to do it with, it'd be Williamson.
Back goes Palacios.
And by the way, when you've got a scoreless game and you're moving in through the middle innings, it's time to start to create. We've not been able to sit back and put things together on our own. We're going to have to utilize the running game. Rays have a great running game. The Marlins have the best running game.
And both teams have a hard time stopping the other team's running games.
Why does it always seem to work out that way? When you're really, you hit a ton of home runs, your guys give up a ton of home runs. Same thing with the running game, at least this year. Not always, but it's funny how it works out that way a lot.
Back goes Palacios, 2 throws over now by Bender. Not a great running count or a great hit and run count, right? On 0-2. They could just put one off the, not pitch out necessarily, but
a straight steal, though, if you're thinking about maybe a breaking ball in the dirt, or maybe he just takes 95 and powers it right by you.
That's what he did.
Yep.
And now a word from Pizza Hut.
Tampa Bay fans know who the real MVP is of game day grub, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right, well, Mullins is due to come up and will come up, and the Marlins are going to go get John King out of their bullpen. We'll be back.
And a blue moon. Wow, that is a delicious looking orange slice.
You know, that's actually my son's slice. Go ahead, you can take a bite.
Now our Papa John's key ingredients. The domination from the Rays. Since 2015, that's when Kevin Cash took over.
How about that? Had one last night. That's now 11 shutouts to just one for Miami in that, well, in that length of time. How about the fact that before Kevin Cash became the manager, the Marlins had the upper hand in the series?
They did. That is.
The Rays were underwater against the Marlins. Kevin Cash takes over, and it's completely, the script has flipped.
Now John King, the lefty, against Cedric Mullins, a throw to first. King, 31 years of age.
Pretty good numbers. ERA of 2.36, but check out the whip. 0.68. That is excellent. Not giving up a lot of base runners at all. Oh,
he gives one up now.
That hurt. Well, yes, he did. But you know what's funny? That won't affect his whip.
Because it's only walks plus hits.
That's
it's
it.
Not hit.
Does not take into
hit by
account.
pitch is basically a walk in one pitch.
I know. But it does not factor into the whip.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Got him right on the arm bar. Better crack the plastic than your elbow. So it's 2 on 1 out. A little uprising here for the Rays. And Taylor Walls has been pretty good in these sort of situations. A little low, 1-0. That average is much better than that when you put a man in scoring position. Backdoored him, 1-1.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter's challenging.
I didn't see it. Walls is challenging the pitch.
Call confirmed. Tampa has one challenge remaining.
ABS powered by T-Mobile evens the count. The race will be down to 1 challenge. Could be 2, 1, and they're out of the inning. A 6-4-3 double play. Credit to John King and the Marlins for turning it. The Rays still hitless through 5. Rays TV is brought to you by Orlando Health. We make it personal. Scooting along Water's Edge here in Miami, Florida. The Rays of the Marlins. Middle game of the 3-game set. Day game tomorrow. That one's hit deep down the left field line by Sanoha. And it's 1-0 Miami. Sanoha just hooks one over the left field wall to give the Marlins their first run of the series.
Well, let's take a look at that with our Orlando Health slow-mo replay. That slider, it's been a big pitch for Shane here in this ball game, and that one, it kind of rolls right into the swing, and credit Sanoha to be able to clear those hips and get the barrel through the zone to meet that pitch, keep it fair, and gets it over the wall.
So the Marlins did not score in the first 13 innings of the series, and they've got a lead now in the middle game of the set.
How that slider right there just stays flat. Not a lot of depth to it, and he's wondering, and realizing.
Called a strike. 2-1 to Ruiz. 3-2.
And that was ball 4.
Yes, it was.
That ball clearly off the plate. Ruiz so aggressive. Shane's able to get a break there. Let's see if he can capitalize on that and finish Ruiz off.
And just missed. A walk after a homer. And Shane's angry. Lifted off the first base line. Aranda running out of room. Out of play. Now the Marlins have the former Ray, Calvin Fauché, up in the bullpen. Step off and throw. You know, I always think this, BA, about bullpen games. Yes, they're kind of a pain in the butt to face, but if you got a long line of pitchers, all it takes is one guy to have one bad day,
right? Especially
in a tight affair, and the whole thing, you know, the whole plan blows up.
Yeah, in theory, it's great. Well, you know, we get 2,
yeah,
you know, maybe 1, you know, 2-2, 1-1-1.
Right.
One guy has an off night. Plan completely implodes.
Out of play once again off the bat of Norby, and it's 0-2.
And that's why, if you're going to do something like that, you always kind of like the idea of the bulk guy. You get a guy out there, maybe he's going to go 2, but then the next guy's going to go 4, and then you can piece it together. But when it's, you know, it's 1-1-1-1-1 down the line, that makes it real tough. And so does that.
He's going to try for third, and he'll make it. Ruiz with a stolen base. And gets to third with nobody out.
You know, and if you're a middle infielder in that kind of a situation right there, whether you're going to get the runner at second base or not, you've got to at least knock that ball down. You know, let's see what happens here where it goes wrong. Fortes up with the throw. It's going to be a low throw, and it just skipped by. It just skipped by Williamson. Yeah, probably not going to get him. It was like Williamson was almost going for the tag, thinking about the tag before he had the baseball.
All right, well, there's a big strikeout for McClanahan to get Norby and hold the runner at third for now. Shane's 6th strikeout.
Needed that. Boy, did he need that. He went upstairs to get it.
Way out of the zone, though.
Don't go there on Fortes.
Yeah, no. Kyle Snyder, Ray's pitching coach, is going to go to the mound. Now they'll talk about how to face Joe Mack. Meantime, we can take a look at our rooms to go standings in the American League East. Yankees lost yesterday. Rays up 1.5. And the O's are playing the Blue Jays. Red Sox and Yankees are playing also. So you have a good series in Miami, and the Rays will guarantee to gain ground on other teams. See, the Blue Jays have a 6-4 lead. Stretch time in Canada, Boston, and the Yankees tonight.
And those games back, you know, that's a little bit off too. I mean, look at add it up. How about the Orioles and the Blue Jays? Both have played 64 games. The Rays have played 60.
How does that make sense?
Well, you had the 2 rainouts that the Rays have had, but even so, they're behind a lot of teams, which means not only are you going to be making those games up that you've lost to the rain, but your schedule's going to get busy as the season goes on.
Well, it's a busy week coming up too, because and there's the games played.
How about that? That's in the league. There are some teams that have played 65 games.
Yeah.
Almost a week's worth of game ahead of the Rays.
Which you wouldn't think would happen for a team that plays half their games in a dome. You know, they get all their games in for sure.
Yeah.
Two and nothing here to Joe Mack. Infield all the way in. And that'll get the second run in, and get Joe Mack into scoring position. Ruiz is home. It's 2-0 Miami. RBI double, Joe Mack.
Joe Mack, a big, strong catcher, and hit that ball hard the other way. Richie Palacios never looked comfortable going after it. Not at all. With that breaking ball kind of hanging, he stays on it pretty well, hits it hard, and is able to squeeze it over the head of Richie. And that gets the run home, and it also gets Mack into scoring position himself.
2-0 Miami. 1 out runner in scoring position.
Oh, challenge.
Challenge by Edwards.
I think Edwards may win this one. I've got that off in.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter is challenging.
Let's see what we got.
Ah.
Oh, look at that.
Called confirmed. Miami has 1 challenge remaining.
Boy, is that close.
I mean,
How could it possibly be
yeah,
closer?
I mean, is it that accurate?
So they say. Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So it is 0-2. Junior snags it. I think wisely holds it.
Well, and here was the problem. If Junior is going straight across to make that play, he's got a chance to plant and throw. He was not only having to go backwards, he was angling back because he was playing tight towards the bag, towards the turf. Watch how he is angling backwards here. It's not just about going to get it, but look how his angle is. He's angling out. That way, it just becomes way too much of a difficult play, and so he wisely holds that baseball. If he's going straight across, you've got a chance to step and throw, but angling back.
So it's an infield hit for Edwards. Fouled away, 1-1. Twenty pitches in this second. This will be number 20 here, 5th inning for McClanahan. Last game for Shane, 5 innings, 70 pitches. High bouncer. Bases are loaded on another infield hit. I mean, Shane's making some decent pitches, and the Marlins are using the turf to their benefit.
Yeah, certainly are. I mean, this pitch just right into the ground, and there's just no play to be made. I mean, even if Taylor comes up with that, you're not getting him.
So the bases are loaded. Fortes out to talk to McClanahan.
Yeah, this is a team meeting here. Kyle Snyder's already made his way out there. Infield hits. Otto Lopez right there at 22. He's got the most hits in Major League Baseball. At least he did coming into this series.
But now you're into the power. Kyle Stowers. Bases loaded, only 1 out. This game teetering. 0-1.
Last at bat, he started him with a couple of sliders to get ahead. Ended up striking him out looking on a fastball. That was middle of the plate but down. And so he starts him right there again with another slider. See if he differs in his plan at all.
Can they turn it? 1. McClanahan's out of it. Just the 2 runs allowed. The base is loaded, 1 out situation, and it goes Williamson to Walls to Aranda. And the Marlins, while they take the lead, they left some chicken on the bone too.
Liberty, Liberty.
We'll get ready for Longo's Legacy Weekend, July 11th and 12th, with Longo's Best Plays bracket game. Relive the biggest moments from Evan Longoria's legendary Rays career. Just watch the highlights and vote by visiting RaysBaseball.com/best plays. And the former Ray, Calvin Fauché. Look at that, no home runs allowed this year.
But a lot of base runners.
You bet.
You can see that, and a lot of that is going to lead to that inflated ERA. Well, the cutter 46% of the time, sweeper, curveball. How about that? Two-seam, four-seam, a combined 18% when you throw it 97 miles an hour. Now, I don't understand that. I understand spin, and you can, a breaking ball, and maybe it's the, but 18% of the time, and you throw 97.
He was a bit of an anomaly with the Rays, or at least a question, an enigma, I think is the word I'm looking for. Why isn't he better? Because the stuff was pretty impressive from time to time, but other times not so much. Sliced, and the Rays do have their first hit. And there's Dad to celebrate the moment. Just saw Junior get a base hit, and the Rays have their first hit. It starts the 6th inning.
How cool is that? How cool is that?
We're down to get it.
Yes, he did. Down and in. He just kind of slices it out there. Inside out swing. There you go.
Look at that. He couldn't sit still.
Can't believe it took him till his second at bat. Should have been your first at bat, son.
All right, Nick Fortes comes up. The double play turned by the Rays keeps them in the game. That could have gotten really crazy there with Stowers coming up with the bases loaded and one out. And how can the Rays, who eventually get the tying run to the plate, can they make a comeback? Well, Fauché has allowed a lot of base runners.
Well, it started with Bacher, Anthony Bender, King.
Again, up and out of the zone. Oh, challenge by Fortes.
Yep.
That's a worthy challenge.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter's challenging.
I thought from the center field camera it looked off. And yes, sir. 1-2 the count.
Ball's overturned with the ball.
Or 2-2 umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two and 2 to Fortes. And Mason returns. Contact hitter for sure. And he's in a challenge again.
Yeah.
It was a fastball similar spot. I'm not quite as certain on this one. We'll see.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter is challenging.
Well, with Joe Mack reaching for it, it appears, but it's also across the plate. Let's see.
He's out.
All confirmed. Tampa has no challenges remaining.
And the Rays are out of challenges.
Yeah, watch how Mack has to reach for it all the way across the plate. So that's where, you start to have a little bit of, maybe, but.
So what's that? The first strikeout in the last 30 plate appearances for Nick Fortes. Now back to the top of the order, Yandy Diaz. And that is a strike. The other way, a hard base hit for Yandy Diaz. Mesa holds at second. Yandy Diaz on base once again. There it is. The Toyota trend, and Yandy Diaz 20 in a row on base. Hit it 104 to the opposite field, which I suppose is nothing new for Yandy Diaz.
No, he's made a living out of doing that. Up the middle, the other way, especially off the fastball.
The Rays had 2 on 1 out last inning, couldn't score. Now down a pair of runs. You got the RBI leader at the plate, and he's behind 0-2. One and two.
That's a pretty good block right there. You know, that gets away from Mack, and now you got runners at second and third with 1 out. And he does a nice job on a tough pitch of keeping it right in front. Turn the glove, kind of angle himself over top of it, and keep it close.
He's a really good-looking young catcher. We saw him drive in the run, but defensively, that's his calling card. Great throwing arm. Does a lot right back at the plate. Aranda goes down, 2 away.
Well, it was the fastball up in the zone earlier in the game, and then this snappy breaking ball down and in by Fauché. Take a look at it on our Orlando Health slow-mo replay. But look at the depth, the late depth that pitch gets. And that's what you get so excited about with Fauché, because you know he does have the good velocity, which means he's got good hand and arm speed. And if you've got that you're going to be able, more than likely, to be able to create really good spin. And so that's what everybody has loved about Fauché, is the spin on the breaking ball, and that was a good one.
This one does get away. Both runners advance. The Rays could be a single away from tying it.
This was not a good one by Fauché.
Not even Mack could stop it.
Nope. I mean, it was wide of the plate. It was short. Difficult chance here for Mack. He does enough just to deflect it.
All right, now that it's set up, little help from Fauché. Can the Rays get the hit to catch them? On the corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Softly hit, and Norby leaves it for Fauché, and they're out of it. Caminero grounds out. The Rays strand the tying runs in scoring position, and it's still 2-0 Miami. Over the first hit and every hit this season, Suncoast Credit Union donates $79 to local nonprofits. Visit suncoast.com/Rays for more information. Victor Mesa Jr. got the Rays' first hit, but was stranded. And now we go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 Miami. The numbers so far on McClanahan. Two and 0. This is the middle third for the Marlins. Hernandez, Jimenez, and Sanoja. And time. Here's Jimenez. Who's next? In there. 2 and 1. Whacked the other way, base hit. second straight inning, Marlins have had their leadoff runner aboard.
Well, you're playing him to pull in the infield, and then you hung a slider that it just kind of stayed middle of the plate away, and it becomes real easy to hit here. Take that breaking ball, gets underneath it a little bit. It's up near the letters, and just swats it the other way. There's no defense there.
Now first pitch strike to Sanoja, or to Jimenez. Hernandez runs, and it's a base hit into center field. And at first and third for the Marlins with nobody out.
Another slider that flattened again. You think about the homer by Sanoja was a slider. These last two hits were on sliders that stay up, and they don't have a lot of depth to them. They stay flat. You can see that ball. He hit a knuckleball through the middle of the field. Caught that really clean.
And the Rays in trouble, already down 2-0, first and third, nobody out. Kyle Snyder to the mound. As Kevin Cash gets his bullpen going for the first time. Snyder with some pointed words here. Certainly a deliberate message sent out to Shane, and it's how the Marlins have grabbed the lead here. Casey Legumina is the right-hander warming up for the Rays. Sanoja's having himself a night. That single was a bunch single, and then the home run, which broke the scoreless tie. And a base hit will drive in the third Marlin run. Hernandez scores. Jimenez to second. 3-0 Miami.
I mean, was that pitch even anywhere near the plate?
No.
I mean, falling out all over the plate to get to that pitch and shoot it the other way. Again, had a right side of the infield that was wide open. And that pitch off the plate, but it was up just a little bit. And that's all he had to do. Just reach out there with the bat, and you're almost playing pepper with the right side of the infield.
Bunt attempt by Ruiz, but he pulls back ball one. Showing bunt in the air, foul. 1-1. These are the moments, PA, that I always wonder what goes through a pitcher's mind. He's trailing, the bullpen's going. He knows that things haven't necessarily gone his way tonight, but he's trying to keep the Rays in the neighborhood.
It's compete. You compete. This next pitch has to be better than the last one, and that's what that's how you're programmed. You're trying to limit damage, trying to make a big pitch here. You're still thinking about that ground ball double play.
So what do you do to clear your mind? I mean, like you said, I guess you just got to worry about that next pitch.
Yeah, I think it's just reps, and some guys get it. Yeah, other guys, maybe struggle with it, but you just have to train yourself over all the years of playing this game and pitching in particular. Next pitch, I can't do anything about what just happened. I can't do anything. So if I choose to dwell on it, that's only going to affect how I am moving forward. You have to just flush it and think next pitch. This next pitch is going to be better than the last one.
He's at a tough count, 3-1, and then he hit him.
Or did he hit them?
Or did it hit the bat?
No.
Hit by pitch. Would have been ball 4. Instead, it's a hit by pitch. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And Kevin Cash looks poised to come out, and here he comes.
He does.
Oh, he kind of leaned that elbow out there. Yeah.
All right. Well, McClanahan is done and leaving 3 men on base. Legumina in a moment.
Take care of our own.
Rays TV is presented by Union Home Mortgage. We're at the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Marlins have knocked out Shane McClanahan, and Casey Legumina comes into the game with no wiggle room. Bases loaded, nobody out. The numbers so far on Legumina.
Obviously, you cannot come into a tougher situation than this, but you've got to somehow try to. I mean, really, it boils down to one pitch at a time. You get ahead of a guy, you get to 2 strikes, you start thinking about maybe a way to put him away with the strikeout, because you could certainly use one of those. Fastball 61% of the time split up between the 4-seam, the 2-seam by Legumina. Comes from that sidearm release point. Gets some late life on his pitches and needs to pull a rabbit out of a hat here to keep this at 3 runs.
Infield in. That line still wide open for Shane. Most hits he's given up in a game since April 19th. Liam Hicks is going to bat for Connor Norby. He's been their best RBI man and takes a strike. The runners aboard with nobody out. Sliced foul 0-2. Look at that, 46 runs batted in. Hit well, right center field. Mesa able to make the running catch. Jimenez scores. Sanoja goes to third. Hicks just missed it, but connects to make it 4-0 Marlins.
That was scary coming off the bat. That ball's in the middle of the plate. He just got underneath it a little bit too much and maybe a little bit too far out in front as that ball just kind of died on the warning track. Does get the run home, moves the runner from second to third. But lamenting that if he would have sat back, I mean a split second longer, that could have been worth 4.
It's a deep alley out there in right center field, and the park just held it. And now Joe Mack. Strike 1. Boy, Fortes really hopped to the outside area, but still, Legumina didn't hit the target. 1 ball, 1 strike. See if he does that again. Line still open on that man McClanahan. Up the middle. Walls for 1 and 2. The double play is turned. And boy, bases loaded, none out. You'll take just 1 run allowed. Through 6, though, the Marlins in control, leading the Rays 4-0. The 7th inning is now brought to you by Hyundai. See Liam Hicks in at first base for Miami, taking over for Norby after he pinch hit and nearly knocked one over the wall. A deep sac fly. Greeting with Corey Dickerson. And there are the totals. 8 hits, 4 runs, most allowed by McClanahan, at least in terms of hits, since April 19th. He has not been tagged with a loss since that day also. 5-0 with 2 no decisions in there. But he's on the hook. The offense is going to have to bail him out. Rays have had 2 on, 1 out each of the last 2 innings, but have not been able to score. Nothing in 2. Palacios, Williamson, and Cedric Mullins due up against the 2nd inning of Calvin Fauché. Michael Peterson's been up in the pen for the home team. There's Williamson next. 1 and 2. There's Peterson. Bullpen day for the Marlins. I'd say it's worked pretty well for them. 2-hit shutout thus far. 2 and 2. To the gap in right center, but Stowers flags it down. One gone.
Boy, I thought he started to take too shallow of an angle, and that ball would have a chance to get over his head. I think he wonders the same thing. And that ball was well hit by Richie. Goes down, gets it, hits it hard, and then you can see how he's kind of curling back and then has to head towards the warning track. He did take a shallow angle, but he had enough time to readjust.
Always find it interesting for guys, and look, Palacios himself knows it, that are playing both infield and outfield in the same season. Remember, Stowers played first base yesterday. The infielders often trained their first step is in. The outfielders trained the first step is often back. I wonder how you square the circle, so to speak. You read the ball a little differently. Stowers was able to make the play. 2 balls and no strikes to Williamson. Of course, in the outfield, you have a little more time to read the baseball off the bat.
You know, and the infielders, when you're talking about them moving in, you know, they're starting deeper than they're, you know, where they want to be positioned, and then they get on the balls of their feet, and then they come set as that pitcher's delivering the ball, you know, so then all of a sudden they're in an athletic position right where they want to be, and then it's just a matter of reaction to the ball off the bat, and you don't have a lot of time on the infield. You're right. Outfield has a little bit more time, but you still have to get to that ready position. I mean, you want to be on the balls of your feet as that pitch is being delivered towards home plate, and then you can break. You know, you may have to go one of 4 different directions from pitch to pitch. So that's where the reps come into play, and that's where you see guys go out and, you know, they'll especially they're going to go out into the outfield and they'll go take jumps during batting practice, you know, and get in the ready and, you know, just work on a couple of jumps that way to stay sharp, because the guys that do both of them, like you said, Richie, Stowers, it's completely different, and that's why guys that can do it and do it well, that's why they're so valued.
That's why you see too that practice you're doing, you know, for a normal night game and around the 5 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so important. Reading the baseball and getting jumps. Mullins shallow left center, caught on the run by Ruiz. 2 out, man aboard in the 7th, and we'll leave it for Taylor Walls. Strike 1 to Walls. Another one. 0-2. Two and two. Down the first, foul ball. So 2-2. These are starting to run a little short on outs tonight. They're within a slam, but they need base runners. There's Williamson after his 1-out walk. They were 2 down. And down he goes. So Fauché throws 2 Scoreless innings against the Rays. It gets the Marlins 6 outs away. Stretch time in Miami.
The Marlins lead this one 4-0. But guys, I want to tell you about a little bit of an update happening with the bullpen. Today, Rays manager Kevin Cash announced that Steven Matz will be a part of that bullpen for the foreseeable future. He's made 10 starts for the Rays so far this season, but he struggled a little bit in his last couple of outings, especially that one against Detroit where he allowed 5 runs. He said the decision wasn't just about results when he spoke with Cash. A big part of the conversation centered around the velocity trending down. Matz noted that after returning from the injured list in May, things were going well, but over time started to notice his stuff declining. He said he agrees with the move, understanding that Cash and the coaching staff are doing what's best for the team. Matz also said that this isn't new territory for him. He moved between the rotation and bullpen before, so he feels prepared to help in whatever role is needed. And for now, he's viewing this as an opportunity to freshen up and continue contributing any way he can, guys.
Kendra, thank you very much. It is an interesting turn of events. Didn't exactly see that one coming, but you have to say, like Kendra was just saying there, the velocity had ticked down, the stuff had ticked down a little bit, and Steven had a couple of rough starts since that elbow inflammation injury he returned from. So he's in the pen, which gives the Rays 4 lefties in the bullpen.
Well, and you know, he's a guy obviously that you can use for multiple innings, all these things, because he's stretched out. And you know, last year when he got traded to Boston and went, you know, he was in their bullpen and had a little over a 2 ERA. So you know, he's pitched well out of the pen, understands the role, understands what you know, what it takes to be successful coming out of the pen, what it takes to get ready coming out of the pen. Completely different as a starter. And Xavier Edwards just not feeling it after that foul ball.
Where did it get him? Shin.
Yeah, unprotected shin. I mean, that is literally skin on bone when you hit it in the front.
Well, the way he went down, too. You can crack that bone. Hopefully he did not. They're testing it out, and he's back up. You wonder if he'll add a shin guard to his repertoire after this.
You would think so, if for no other reason than to protect it for any, you know, you don't want to bang another one off there anytime soon. Yeah, there's just nothing to protect you there. Pair of pants, a little bit of skin, and there's your bone.
Not going to do much. You know, the more I watch baseball too, and you're around these guys, I mean, the pain tolerance that hitters in this case have to put up with, how many times they foul the ball off every part of their lower half, in particular the shin bone, off their knees, off the instep, whatever, and you just got to put it away. You got to compartmentalize the pain. I don't really know how they do that, but I guess it's a skill you have to have if you're going to survive in this league.
Yeah, you're never going to feel 100%.
No.
You know, maybe the first day of spring,
right,
and then it's just about managing it from then on.
I remember Cliff Lloyd, when he was at the Rays that one year in 08, was talking about just that, and towards the end of the year, he said, you know, everybody's hurt, but are you injured? If you're injured, that's one thing. If you're hurt, everybody's hurt.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, it's really incredible. By the end of 162, guys are just flat out beat up.
Well, then think about the teams that are perennial playoff teams. You're going 162, and then you're playing another month of baseball, or another couple weeks at least, if you get knocked out early. I mean, the innings, the workloads build up quick, which also then gives you a shorter offseason to get ready to do it all again.
Yeah. Zuber and Peterson back up in the Marlin pen. We saw Zuber last night. Sliced right center. Otto Lopez, 2 hits today.
Well, what we were talking about Otto Lopez in the game last night, he's one of the most aggressive hitters in the game. I mean, he's got a huge chase rate. He doesn't walk a lot. puts the ball in play, but he is an aggressive swinger, and he gets this one up out over the plate. That was just a spinning breaking ball that stayed up and made it real easy for Lopez to get the barrel to it and get it out there into right center field. He continues to swing the bat well. Leading Major League Baseball in hits with 84, the only one at 80 plus.
Stowers with that big swing.
And again, the way that he's getting it done, you know, you look at a guy that has the chase rate that he does, swinging at pitches outside of the zone. Usually that's not going to translate very well to, you know, it's going to translate to a lot of strikeouts, not going to translate to a huge average and all that. And then the fact he doesn't walk either. He's walked 10 times this year, I think. Or at least coming into this series, he had walked 10 times as a full-time regular. Not a lot. Very low walk rate, but yet, you know, bad ball hitter. He's a bad ball hitter. Can handle the balls out of the zone, and he's super aggressive. Good hand-eye coordination.
Won't the league, though, continue to test him how far out of the zone he'll go? And at some point, you can't hit everything.
No. Yeah, right. I mean, what are the limits? And have they been tested yet? You saw that stat right there, 44 punch-outs. He's walked 10 times, but the average is gaudy, you know, leading the league. Or at least, who would Brandon Marsh, you said, jumped him?
Phillies.
Yeah. Maybe not after today.
No. 0-2 to Stowers. Woo. That upshoot fastball, as Kevin Cash calls it.
93. Good velocity from down there. You know, we were remarking on Kempner in yesterday's ball game from the Marlins, getting down in that kind of arm slot release point at 97. But 93, pretty effective, and that's what you're talking about. Look at that ball, just climbs, and the hitter cannot reach it.
93 sure looks harder out of the hand of Legumina.
It has life. That one right there too. That was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball away, and it just jumps at the plate. Some guys, they give off that vibe. Maybe they're mechanically, you know, they're pretty in sync and pretty slow, and then there's an explosion at the end. The ball, you know, it seems to just jump at home plate.
I mean, Legumina's not a huge guy, but boy, that arm just whips. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2.
He's feeling it with that fastball. He's feeling it with the fastball right now.
Maybe only his own catcher could catch up to that with a bat where those pitches are ending up, too.
That's about right.
Fouled away by Hernandez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4-0 Marlins in the 7th inning. Seemed to roll right up the bat there of Heriberto Hernandez. Foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Marlins have had so many base runners the last 3 innings. But McClanahan is the pitcher on the hook, and the offense is going to have to bail him out. 4-0 is somewhat manageable, but now you're getting to the late innings of the game. You need an offensive explosion. Legumina doing his part, keeping the Marlins away from adding on. He strikes out 3 in the inning. The beautiful beaches of South Florida. But it's all Miami right now.
You can eat.
Well, the Rays running out of chances. They are in the top of the 8th inning. They trail the Marlins 4-0. The bullpen day for the Marlins has been working very well. Sanoja got the scoring started with a solo homer in the 5th inning. They would eventually chase Shane McClanahan, 5+ innings, 4 earned runs. Rays held to just 2 hits by a plethora of Miami pitchers coming in and doing a good job overall. Very good job overall. Sometimes you wonder how those days are going to turn out. We talked about it. It just takes one guy to have an off day, maybe more than one, and it's a blowout. You never know how that's going to work out, but the Marlin pitchers have come in and done the job so far.
Michael Peterson, 31 years of age. At 32 years of age, I see. He was born in May of '94. There's his usage. British born, grew up though in California, was drafted 4 different times before finally he signed with the Brewers. He had turned down the Pirates, the Rangers, and the Giants in 3 consecutive years.
Where was he getting drafted out of?
Out of St. Francis High School.
Okay. And then we had maybe a JUCO.
And then went to West Valley College.
Okay.
Then Riverside City College.
Okay. And just refused. Kept refusing the offer.
Kept going back.
How about that?
How about it? He's got an arm on him, 99. Three and 2. Defensive changes. Kyle Stowers goes from right to left. Esteury Ruiz goes to right. Jacob Marcy in center field. Ball 4. Okay. From 0-2 to a walk. Mesa is on to start the inning. For every hit the Rays get this season, including their first hit, Suncoast Credit Union donates $79 to local nonprofits. Visit suncoast.com/Rays for more information. Rays haven't had many chances, but getting shorter on outs, they do get a leadoff walk. 5 straight out of the zone for Peterson. Oh, that hit him. Or did it hit the umpire? It might have hit both. Yeah, Fortes got hit. Got a bite out of Mark Wegner, too. Got him on the arm. I think got them both on the arm. Oh, boy.
How about that? Right behind the back of Mack. So that gets... Well, that gets Fortes on that left arm, and then it ricocheted all the way to the right arm of Wegner. I mean, completely. Well, that was a weird angled shot right there.
Yes, it was.
But
it gives the Rays a shot.
It does. It does. And you've got a pitcher out on the mound who's not shown obviously very good command here in his outing. Maybe this is the guy you got to get.
Top of the order, Yandy Diaz takes ball 1.
And I can't imagine Clayton McCullough is going to waste very much time to get that pen up again because Peterson's been all over the place.
He was 0-2 on Mesa. Then 4 straight out of the zone. And then eventually hits Fortes. Now they got a fastball he liked. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. That pen, though, is quiet.
Good. Then strike while the iron's hot, baby. That's the goal. Make that little room out there busy.
Yandy to right, but fading to the finish. Out of play. 1-2. Yandy's so good in the late innings and even just against relief pitchers, period. Diaz towards the open space in left center field. The Rays will have cut in to the deficit as Mesa scores and Fortes goes to third. It's a 4-1 Marlin lead, and second and third for the Rays with nobody out.
And nobody up, and I can't imagine it's going to stay that way for long. But this is what we've been talking about all game long. All it takes is one guy to be a little bit off, and it completely opens up the door for the other team. Peterson has not been sharp. Yandy, the off-speed pitch, those are the pitches that he's able to get the barrel through the zone and get him to the left side of the field, deep out in left center field. Going to score a run here. You got a runner now at third, second and third with one out. Second and third with nobody out. Yeah, time to get her rolling.
It's already 40 runs batted in for Yandy Diaz. Yandy all smiles, and should be. There it is. That's number one in the American League, if you notice. Lopez, Marsh, Lee, and Arise all in the senior circuit.
Let's see if this works, Andy. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I've never seen you use that before.
No, well, did you see the last arrow that I tried to draw? You got Otto Lopez here. This one's a little better.
All right, here's Aranda after the pitching coach Daniel Moskos' visit. You got the tying run standing at the plate.
Yes, in the dangerous Jonathan Aranda.
44 batted in. Fought it off foul. It's 0-2.
Did you see the reaction there? Aranda swung at that pitch, fouled it off, and immediately realized I swung at a ball. And not only did I swing at a ball, or what more than likely was a ball, I swung at a pitch that I could do nothing with. That you're not driving that pitch. And you can see his reaction, like, why did I do that?
Three pitches and he's done.
Yeah, well, he goes out after that pitch that's off the plate away, so they immediately come back and are able to freeze him in. You know, Junior Caminero, let's see if they continue on with this. Let's take a look at a StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud on how Miami pitching has gone after Junior today, and you can see the vast majority down and away. That's where they want to stay out of that hot zone. You see the darker red. That's where Junior is going to lay into one. They ventured close a couple of times, but for the most part, they're trying to force Junior Caminero to beat them to the big part of the field. You stay away from the big power hitters down and away. You're trying to force them to beat you to center field and right, which a lot of them can, but it's a lot more difficult. What a scoop.
Beautifully by Mac.
What a scoop. That's a run. That's a run.
Why are they even pitching to Junior? First base is open.
That pitch right there didn't look like they were pitching to him.
No, it didn't.
Nowhere near the zone. And what a play by Mac to be able to glove that. Yeah, I don't know why in a 2-0 count either.
Oh, Mark Wagner is wearing it here in the 8th inning. Says he's all right.
Yeah, don't even come look at me. Look for me. I mean, this is a straight shot.
Just like the one Fortes took.
Yep, to the forehead.
The other umpires are also going to come in and make sure he's all right. It's all four umps and Joe Mack checking in on Mark Wagner. Everybody checking in. And Wagner says, "Are you good? Because I'm good." The count is 2-1 to Caminero. Off the hands, way up in the air, in or out of play? Out of play. Well, they are pumping Caminero up and in with these heaters, and he just cannot resist going after him.
Well, you think about the game yesterday. We highlighted it in the open coming into this ball game where Tyler Phillips blew him up with a fastball up and in, got a foul ball, broke his bat, tried to go back in there on the very next pitch, and Junior laced it into the corner for a double. So be careful.
And he got him with a high fastball.
99 elevated.
Behind 2-0 in the count. Peterson 3 straight by Junior.
How about this? I mean, this is just coming after you, and it is well above the zone. And at that velocity and that height, even that quick swing of Caminero can't get it.
And from second and third, 1 in and nobody out. Now there's 2 down. And the Rays will need something from Richie Palacios. Taking a strike. Since the visit by Daniel Moscas, the pitching coach, Peterson has got 2 very big outs. And going through the best of the Rays, too, at the top of the order.
You know, learning this the last series, and we can talk more about it tomorrow when we get into the ball game, but the Marlins pitch calls are all made from the dugout. And it's not coming from Joe Mack. Joe Mack is the intermediary.
I do want to talk about that tomorrow. It's quite interesting. 1 and 2.
In what kind of way interesting, Andy?
Well,
no, I'm being funny because that is so foreign to the game of baseball that I grew up in. You know, I mean, how do these pitchers learn anything if it's just spoon fed to them?
You bet.
You know, and we had a nice conversation with Moscas and about all that stuff, but it is interesting. And he did say, he said, now these pitchers, they have the ability to shake. He said, but in a given game, we may get 3 to 5 tops. So.
Wow. You say, how does the pitcher learn? How does the catcher learn?
And the catchers, the Marlins catchers, they love it.
You bet.
They're like, it takes the thinking out of it for us. We just put the sign, you know, give them the sign, and then we just worry about catch and throw.
I mean, it certainly takes off the pressure.
Yeah, but you're right. At the end of the day, what are you learning? If you go to another organization that doesn't do that, do you know how to call a game? Do you know how to handle a pitching staff? Does a pitcher know how to sequence pitches, or do you have any? Is there any rhyme or reason to what you're doing?
The 2-2 pitch to Palacios to second base. The Marlins hold the Rays to just the 1 run. Well, that was their best shot. They got 1 in, but now the Rays will be down to 1 at bat.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Tampa Bay Rays and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Rays TV is presented by Union Home Mortgage. We go to the 8th, the last half of the 8th, with the Marlins up 4-1, and Kevin Kelly, the new Rays pitcher. Kelly has been used in high leverage for the Rays usually lately when they have a lead, but today they're down 3.
He's done a nice job too. He leans on that 2-seam fastball.
Smooth as ever by Walls, and a bounced in throw, 1 out.
He makes it look too easy.
Sure
There's
does.
nothing easy about that play, and Taylor makes it look real easy. Get out of the way, Ben, and then just bounce it 1 hop right up there to Aranda. That could be a little tricky too when you 1 hop it into the dirt.
Yeah.
And that was done on purpose.
Sure.
You know, you 1 hop it on the turf, you're going to get that clean, you're going to get that clean bounce, clean skip every single time. In the dirt on a field that's been played on for 8 innings, you could hit something and take a weird bounce there on Aranda. That's a risky little throw.
Clump of mud.
Absolutely.
Or
I mean, anything. And I know they're out there working on it in between innings a lot of the time, but still, it hits and just moves a little bit, and Aranda's not ready for it. It could be a clank. So risky play, but it worked out.
And now 1-2 to Sanoja, who's been having himself a game with the bat and with the glove. There's that sinker. 2 out in the 8th.
That's nasty. 92, but it's got a lot of late life again, and especially that one down.
I mean, there never was a strike, though, out of hand.
No, that's just a true chase.
Yeah.
And he could have been thinking it was that pitch right there.
Yeah.
A little upshoot action. Maybe it's the 4-seamer that's going to stay true and stay at the bottom of the zone, and so you got to protect him too, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's the 2-seamer and it's gone.
Just missed 1-1. One and 2. Kelly hasn't pitched in a while, and to have him go a quick inning here leaves him available for tomorrow if the Rays need him with a late lead. The Rays have gone from so many wins where you're using Kelly and Baker and all the guys in the high leverage spots to try to nail down a win, to moments where they're using some of them behind in games just to get them enough work. The constant dealing with it throughout the year. Who's got enough work, who doesn't, who needs more, who's got too much. The management of a bullpen.
And that stuff is all logged away. Yeah. And at this point they know exactly what these players need, what they can handle, the kind of workload that they can put on them.
Foul ball. Pulled that outside. It's a walk to Ruiz. Rays will have Williamson, Mullins, and Walls.
How about Ruiz's day?
Yeah.
Walk, hit by pitch, walk.
No official at-bats, but 4 plate appearances. He also has a stolen base and scored back in the 5th inning. Liam Hicks just missed a grand slam as a pinch hitter. Deep enough, though, to get another run home. Back goes Ruiz.
Wow, that was closer. Yeah. That wasn't even like an A+ move by Kelly. Ruiz must have been way off. Either that or not reacting quickly enough. Oh, he's trying to get him running, moving lead. You see right there.
So that late lead off first, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, and if you get him just one misstep, it's all it takes, a lead. And then it takes too long for you to recover and get back. But these guys get real aggressive with these leads.
That's a base hit. Ruiz running hard to third, and they'll hold him. Single by Hicks and a 2-out rally mounting for the Marlins.
I like the way that Cedric Mullins and Victor Mesa Jr. get rid of the ball quickly. They don't take a big long windup and give a guy an opportunity to maybe take an extra base. They get it and they get it into the infield, get it into the cutoff man. The runner being held on opens up that right side just a little bit, and Hicks is able to squeeze one through, and then Victor Mesa Jr. comes up with that ball, gets it in right away, so there's no thought at all And both of those guys do a good job of that. You know, you watch some of these outfielders around the league, and they come in and they're fielding ground balls, and you know, a crow hop or two, and then a long arm swing, and it takes them forever. You're like, get the ball into the infield, and those two outfielders for the Rays do a great job of that.
Well, Simpson has worked on it too in left field. He's not blessed with a particularly strong arm, but one of the things that they've worked on is him getting rid of it as fast as he can.
That's it. So that's the thing. It's great if you've got a strong arm, but if you don't, it becomes that much more important. That if you're not going to be able to just gun guys, then at least out of the glove and in. Get it to the right guy, you know, whoever the cutoff man is, to let him then make a play.
All right, first and third, 2 out for Joe Mack. Down the left field line, but foul. Well, if you want an outside chance of a big rally in the ninth, and it'll be against Pete Fairbanks, the former Rays closer, at least he was warming. Yeah, he is. Then you've got to prevent the Marlins from getting another run here. Moved him off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Well, Kelly got the first 2 out so quickly. But then the walk to Ruiz, the base hit by Hicks. Trying to bear down now on Joe Mack. It goes foul. 2 and 2. Yeah. Under 100 with runners in scoring position. Quite often Kelly is coming into these spots that are hot and gets out of them. Very, very good for stranding inherited runners, but these are his own runners. First and third. Still 2 and 2. Rays chances coming in the last half of the game. Marlins 2 for that matter, but they've got the timely hit. Rays just the 1 from Yandy Diaz. The sweeper up takes care of Joe Mack's side is retired. Marlins leave 2, and here comes Pete Fairbanks. Try to save one against his old mates. Well, a familiar face, a familiar arm on the mound, and that's Pete Fairbanks, who could not get a save against the Rays, although he did get a win on a Saturday game at home last month. The numbers on Pete. One of the blown saves is against the Rays. The other came against the Mets on a walk-off home run their last road trip. Look at that cutter, more than breaking ball now for Pete. Remember, for us, he was fastball slider, although that slider used to look like a curveball used to save the game.
And right there, how about that? It's so early in this outing, a changeup. That just took off. Wrapped that right around Williamson.
Three and 0. But you remember that the mix for him used to be like half fastballs, half breaking balls.
Oh yeah, you see that a lot too. You know, a guy will bounce to another organization, and the mix, all of a sudden you're like, wonder what they are thinking. What did they see? Again, remember, everything's called from the bench.
That's a good point, even for a veteran.
There it is. So you look at that, 5-0, boom, boom, hit it, and there you go. You're off and running.
Wow.
And obviously, you have to switch up those hand signals. They may lead to the same pitch. That would be way too easy to pick up on. So they've got their own system over there that they're sure that you're not going to be able to pick anything up. They went to the pitch comm to get away from the finger thing, and that's exactly what the Marlins are still doing. And opposing teams know where to hone in on. They just saw what we saw.
Sure.
And that they're deliberately working on how to crack the code.
Full count to Williamson. Ball 4 to start the inning.
And that was not particularly close at all.
Now Cedric Mullins. Well, that's just what the Rays needed. Now they need one more base runner to get the tying run up. Ball 1 high to Cedric Mullins. Right there. High fastball, and it's 1-2. The signal from the bench. A 1 and a 3. Off the hands. Rays coming into the day with a 1.5 game lead over the Yankees. They play Boston tonight. Toronto beat Baltimore earlier. Soft little fly ball towards left center field. The first out of the inning. So Pete did not have the strike zone. The first batter found it against Mullins. And the Rays are down to the last 2 chances here. Here's Walls. There's that cutter that has been throwing a lot more up. Did not go after it, and it's 1 ball 1 strike. I mean, you're in that pass the baton mode for the Rays. Just get on base. Doesn't matter how.
Yeah, no, I mean, and these guys obviously realizing this could be their last at bat of the day. You're really locking in, honing in, trying to make Fairbanks work, trying to take advantage of any potential mistake. But that's what it is. You are fight or flight mode. And not much you're going to be able to do about that. You're talking about a fastball up near the letters at 98. And remember Pete Fairbanks, how tall he is, and coming right over the top. Look at that, just that riding fastball.
Out of the mid-Mac. I guess that's probably the best you can do with it right there. Is just get a piece and live to see another. 1-2 to Walls.
Wow, well above major league average. The the ability to put guys away. He has the stuff to do it.
Showing bunt, and a bunt hit with 2 strikes.
We talked about
Yes.
that. Was that in Baltimore or New York?
One of those.
We were talking about this. You're like, would they ever do it? I'm like, you know what? You wouldn't put anything past this offense. And how about that? You know what was really interesting, too, is Taylor Walls, before every pitch, was eyeballing where the infielders were. Eyeballing where they were. And once with 2 strikes, they moved back. He's like, I'm doing it. I've got nothing to lose because I know I don't have to be fine. It doesn't have to be a perfect bunt. I just need to get it down. If I get it down, it's a base hit.
What a heady play. And now the tying run of the plate. Here's Victor Mesa with Dad in attendance. Ball 1.
How about that? I mean, that wasn't that long ago.
I remember asking you about it, and before I said it, I'm like, it sounds stupid for me to even say it. A two out, a 2-strike bunt.
Right.
And lo and behold, they did it.
In a big spot.
Yes.
In a big spot. And again, he was side-eyeing that whole infield. See where they were. And with 2 strikes, they conceded. They're like, they dare you. And so, and Taylor's going to square around. Again, he doesn't have to make it a perfect bunt. It just needs to get down because there's no defense for anything rolling to that side.
Victor Sr. locked in on Junior's plate appearance. One and 2. In the air and out of play. A legendary player in the island nation of Cuba. Victor Mesa Sr. watching Junior in a fight here with Pete Fairbanks. 1 out, 2 on. To the right side, diving is Hicks. And out at first. Saved a run, might have saved a rally.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that's exactly what Dad's thinking. He hit that ball sharply. What a play by Hicks. Rays are going to leave that alone. Unfortunate turn of events, because if that ball gets through, you're right. This inning gets real weird real fast. Nice job with 2 strikes, staying on that breaking ball, and then look at the play by Hicks. The dive.
Ooh. Junior almost came through. And the Rays will pull back Nick Fortes and bring up Chandler Simpson. And strike 1 is called.
Well, you like that because you want speed up there. A lot of different ways for Chandler to get on. If you can do that, you get it to Yandy, and now you got a real shot.
Any way to get on base is the job at hand for Chandler Simpson. But he's behind 0-2 now. Nope, 1-2. Oh, they're going to challenge it.
Well, they've got nothing to lose, so they're not going to win.
Pitch is called a ball. The catcher challenging.
As we've seen, just a little edge of that baseball has to get a little edge of the plate. Nope.
All confirmed.
Like BA said, though, really nothing to lose for the Marlins.
Miami has more challenges remaining.
Fought off. Staying 1-2.
Didn't look like that felt very good.
Remember, he's playing with the sore thumb. Fought off again, so he fouls off 98 at his neck and 88. That I think would have been a strike, a breaking ball right into the plate area. Maybe borderline.
Left hand coming off the bat quick, too.
Second and third, 2 out, top of the ninth. And it gets away. Here comes Williamson to score the second run. And Walls takes third. Wild pitch charged to Pete Fairbanks. And a run is home. Mac really had to reach. Still though, 2-2 to Simpson. Did not chase. 3-2. Yandy waiting next. Only if Simpson can get aboard. Ball 4 and Yandy will bat. Now things have gotten very interesting. What a plate appearance by Chandler Simpson from 0-2 to a walk to get Yandy Diaz the tying run to the dish. Daniel Moscas, the pitching coach, to the mound. Now, can Simpson get himself to scoring position and make it a single away from a tie game? He has not stolen a base since May 11th. And we know you can run against Pete Fairbanks.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're going to go, this is the time you have to go. Absolutely right. Pete Fairbanks, very deliberate, a lot of times slow to the plate.
Chandler not running. First pitch, strike one call. Outfield very deep all the way around. Simpson not going. And it's a base hit to right field for Yandy Diaz. Simpson's going to make it to third base. It's a one-run game. 4-3 Miami. Aranda will be coming up. And the Marlins getting a lefty in their pen. Will they stick with Pete Fairbanks?
Well, here it is. Fastball up middle, and Yandy Diaz, typical Yandy Diaz, let that ball get deep, shoot the ball the other way. That's what he does with those fastballs. And Fairbanks right there quickening up to the plate. Didn't really allow Chandler Simpson an opportunity to run. So you can't really fault him there. Different look there from Fairbanks on that delivery home. But what it did was it left the pitch up, and Yandy was able to take advantage. Now they need to do it one more time as he comes out of the game. Got Oliver Dunn pinch running. Ollie is in the game.
Ollie's on.
That's it.
Aranda tried to time the breaking ball at 0-1.
Yeah, he wanted to drive that ball into left field. He tried to let that ball travel in there and just pop it the other way. We've seen him do that in these situations with runners in scoring position where he has been so good all season long. Just manipulate that swing, bat control.
Oh, another wild one would tie it.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, that's a very real possibility because Pete Fairbanks this half inning has had some bad misses.
A ball and a strike to Aranda. Zuber, not a lefty. It's a Zuber, righty warming. Too high, 2-1. Three and one to Aranda, and Fairbanks turns his back on home plate. And Junior Caminero, the on-deck batter.
Yeah, and what do you do if you're Clayton McCullough?
Well, you don't intentionally walk him.
Yeah, no, nope, can't do that. Don't have a big enough lead.
See what Aranda gets on 3-1. 3-2. Pat Simpson, the tying run at third base. Oliver Dunn will be running here. He's the go-ahead run at first. The best success, BA, that Pete's had in the inning, I think, has been on elevated fastball.
Yeah.
And that can be a weakness sometimes for Aranda.
Got him earlier in this game.
Yeah. Aranda has fanned 3 times today. And fouled it off. Geared that last one up to 98. Fouled away once more.
And you notice after those first couple of misses earlier in this at bat, Fairbanks staying away from anything that he has a fear of potentially bouncing.
So another fastball coming, maybe. We'll see. Very heavy pitch load here for Fairbanks in the top of the ninth. And time called. Asked for by Mack. And looking to see what the dugout wants. Another 3-2 with Dunn running. It's ball 4 high. The bases are loaded, and Junior Caminero is coming up. And Pete Fairbanks will not be allowed to finish a save. You're bleeping me, said Pete Fairbanks. But a 39 pitch inning. And he's out. It'll be Zuber against Caminero with the game on the line when we return.
In your line.
Pete Fairbanks threw 39 pitches in the inning, and he's out. He won't be getting a save. He allows the Rays 2 runs and leaves with the bases loaded for this man. Tyler Zuber working on back-to-back games. And BA, if you're Junior Caminero coming up, it's control your heartbeat time, right?
Oh, yeah, and Junior will be able to do that. He's been in some big games, some big moments. You think about the World Baseball Classic. He'll be fine in this situation. It's just a matter of getting a pitch to hit and taking care of biz.
Strike one is called.
Sweeper, four-seam slider. What Zuber features. Oh.
Junior wants to challenge. They don't have any left.
Don't have any left.
It's 0-2.
Yeah, that fastball right at the top of the zone, maybe just above. Junior had it high. Yeah, it was. Right. Man.
So now Zuber in the driver's seat. He doesn't have to give him a strike here either.
No.
Fouled away, but he did.
Junior got a pretty good swing at it. Enough to take his momentum to take him right across the plate as he dove out after that breaking ball.
I mean, he gave him a slider in the zone. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled away again, and it stays 0-2. He's not wasting pitches or anything. He's going right after him. No balls, 2 strikes. Still to Caminero. That means 2-strike bunt single field this inning. Oh, he got him to chase up and out of the zone. Credit to Tyler Zuber. He puts out the Rays fire. And the Marlins hold on to square the series. 4-3 the final in Miami. In the ninth, the Rays get the bases loaded, leave them. They do get 2 runs in. But while Fairbanks couldn't save it, Tyler Zuber turned out to be the answer.
Our Advent Health play of the game, unfortunately, is that final fastball. And I'll tell you what, Mark Wegner didn't do any favors to Junior Caminero, calling that fastball earlier in that bat a called strike. So Junior feeling like, hey, anything hard up there, I'm going to have to go after. That one was way above the zone, up at the shoulders, and just was not able to even foul that. And a valiant effort there to come back by the Rays, but it falls just short as they leave the bases loaded in the ninth.
Okay, well, the rubber match of the series will be tomorrow. But first, we've got Rays postgame coming up. 4-3 the final. Postgame in a moment.